Here's what's going on in a nutshell. There are laws about what you can and what you cannot do when you're advertising to children, and one of those laws is called COPPA. For years, YouTube claimed that they didn't allow any children under the age of 13 use their platform, and therefore they were exempt from these laws. And of course, anybody with half a brain knows that that claim is absolutely absurd. It turns out that the FTC, which is the US governmental organization that's in charge of enforcing these laws, happens to have a half a brain and sued YouTube for a whole lot of money. The main thing that they were looking for was how YouTube was tracking children's data and how they were using that data to advertise and market towards children. Earlier this year, YouTube and the FTC settled this, and YouTube ended up paying a $170 million fine to the FTC. And as part of this settlement, this changes the way YouTube advertises to kids, and it also changes the way people like me, content creators, are going to have to mark their content going forward starting as of January 1st, 2020. In the last week or two, YouTube has rolled out some new tools that allow us creators to mark our videos as either for kids or not for kids. And going forward, it's not just YouTube who needs to be in compliance with the law. Every content creator needs to comply as well. So that's the easy to understand part of this. The hard to understand part of this is, what exactly does it mean to comply? What does compliance mean? So a question I've seen a lot in the comments and over on Twitter in the last week or two is, am I worried about these affecting my channel? The short answer to that is no, I am not worried. Maybe a little bit, kind of worried, but no. How about this? I reserve the right to be worried about this in the future. I'm going to assume that the FTC's goal here is not to just go out and dragnet as many creators as possible. I'm going to assume that they're going to be looking for specifically for people who are breaking the rules, people who are specifically making kids content and then trying to monetize it because they know they can make more money there. Here's why creators are worried about this. If you mark your content as safe for kids or meant for kids, that means that you will no longer receive targeted ads. You're also going to lose some other things, like your viewers won't be able to leave comments anymore. I don't think you're going to be allowed to make playlists. I'm not sure people will be allowed to receive notifications from their videos. There's a lot of things that you don't get from standard YouTube once you mark your content as meant for children. One thing that's worth pointing out that's going to affect a ton of creators is the fact that if you do not have targeted ads on your video, you will make far less money. I've seen a lot of numbers thrown out, so exactly how much, I don't know. There's a lot of factors in that. I think if we were just being conservative, I think it's safe to say it's anywhere between 50 to 75% less than you would get on the standard targeted ads that we're used to. But I've seen numbers as high as 95%. Anyone you splice it, it's gonna be far less than it would be with the targeted ads. It's unfortunate because this is gonna hurt a lot of creators who are doing a lot of really good, family safe work. I really love some of the stuff, the Storytime animation stuff coming out of that community. We're talking about Jaden Animations, Alex Clark, Odd Ones Out. They're doing great family-friendly content, and they're definitely going to be affected by these rules. If you're reviewing any kind of toys, even if they're toys not meant for kids, for example, I love my collectible Lego sets. I have one on my shelf back there, and I've watched a couple channels that review those high-end Lego sets that aren't really meant for kids. Those are still toys. Those are probably still going to fall under the compliance of the law. And there's a lot of concern there that there's going to be a lot of babies thrown out with a lot of bathwater over the next few months because of this. I've marked this channel as not for kids. I review tech for creative professionals. It's not that a kid can't be a professional, it's just that they're probably not likely to be a professional. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know that there's a couple things I don't do on this channel. I don't swear, I don't tell racy jokes, there's no violence here. So if a kid is watching this, it's not that it's not friendly for kids, it's just safe for work, and that happens to not hurt kids. Heck, my daughter watches this channel, a lot of her friends watch this channel. But the prime reason I do this is I've worked in a lot of different offices, and I know what it's like to be watching a video and have the creator all of a sudden drop an F-bomb out of nowhere and you're racing for your volume control so you don't get in trouble. So the piece that I'm worried about, that I'm going to address here, is the fact that a lot of my videos contain little snippets of animation. Oftentimes in the reviews and my backgrounds, I'm drawing cartoon characters. I love Nintendo stuff, so you'll see me drawing like Mario or Zelda characters, that sort of thing. And the question is where does that fit into compliance? And the short answer is, I'm not really sure. I went to the determining if your content is made for kids compliance page. Here's what it said. Whether children are intended or the actual audience of the video. Nope, I'm good there. Whether the video includes child actors or models. Nope, I'm good there. Whether the video includes characters, celebrities, toys that appeal to children, including animated characters or cartoon figures. Oh no, that's me. But that's just it. There's 10 of these bullet points here. They all kind of fall along the same lines. And what it comes down to is There's so much room for interpretation in these. And that's why a lot of creators are worried about this stuff. If you break the rule, you could face a $42,000 fine per video that's in violation. And I think it's pretty clear to any rational person who watched my videos, you'd know this is not kids content. I'm not competing with Sesame Street here. But therein lies the problem. It looks like a lot of these decisions aren't going to be made by rational people, but they're going to be made by computers. Computers running algorithms looking for content that might be in violation of the rules. I mean, let's assume that the YouTube algorithm that's looking for this stuff is amazingly good and gets it right 99% of the time. If I've got 200 videos on my channel, a 99% right rate means that 2 of my videos would still not be in compliance, and I would face a what, $84,000 fine? But it's not just YouTube going around and scraping this content looking for compliance. It's also the FTC. Now, Google and YouTube, that's what they do. Google is an algorithm company. They've been trying to get this right for years. I guess I just don't have confidence that the FTC could just start writing computer programs to scrape for context in videos and get it right the first time. And the stakes are so high that it scares you a little bit. And that's why so many of us are freaking out, because the rules are very vague and the stakes are very high. We're not really sure at this point how much room there is to wiggle in there, or what recourse we have if one of our videos gets flagged. When it comes to making content or really doing anything in life, my rule of thumb is you tell me the rules. You show me where the line is and I will go nowhere near that line. And I don't really feel in this case that YouTube or the FTC has done that. I know moving forward, I'm probably going to be using less characters. I'm going to be doing a little bit less animation in my videos. I'm just going to be playing it a little bit safe while I see how things roll out. I might take a couple of my videos down that in the past have been more animation focused. I will say this, if I got hit with a fine, I guarantee I would never post a video again. In fact, if other people in the art community get hit with fines for doing similar things that I do, I'm definitely going to take a second look at this. But for now, I'm not freaking out. I'm taking a wait and see look at this. I think one thing that YouTubers are really good at is prematurely freaking out. And this time I think it's warranted. In the past, if you get a video demonetized, you lose a couple $100. This time you could lose your channel and your livelihood. The reason I feel confident is because I am obeying the spirit of the law. The goal of the law is to protect children and make sure that they aren't being advertised to in some kind of harmful way. And like I said before, it's pretty clear to any human who watches this that that's not what's going on here. The bigger concern is, will you get fined? Will you go to court over this thing, about this fine? Will I have to pay lawyers to clear my name? Are these going to be reoccurring fines? There's just so many questions, and it's just stuff you don't want to deal with if you feel like you're doing everything right. I think for me, the most frustrating part here is it feels like YouTube has thrown creators under the bus a little bit. They've said, hey, we still want your revenue, we still want your ad money, but we don't want to help you in any way. It seems like YouTube could have stepped in and done a lot of things to help us out, as opposed to just go straight to the, hey, let the FTC find these people stage. For example, it'd be pretty darn easy to do a grace period. Maybe for 6 months, you could go around and flag videos the way you want to flag videos, and you could say these videos are not in compliance. That way we as creators would have time to figure out what is compliance, what should we be looking for, and how can we comply with these rules without having to worry about being fined right away. Or if YouTube and the FTC are going through and scraping our videos and looking for content to flag, what if we were given access to those tools so we could scan those videos ourselves, see what maybe is like triggering those flags, and change those videos before we upload and can get in trouble for them. I don't know. It seems like there's a million better ways to handle this, and the way YouTube decided to handle it was just to throw creators under the bus and say, deal with them, don't deal with us. In the video where YouTube's talking about what creators should do in this circumstance, they literally said, if you don't know, hire a lawyer. I'm going to assume that the FTC's goal here is not to just go out and dragnet as many creators as possible. I'm going to assume that they're going to be looking for specifically for people who are breaking the rules, people who are specifically making kids content and then trying to monetize it because they know they can make more money there. I'm going to assume that that's who they're looking for and that's what they're going to go after, and that most of us are going to be just fine. We're going to adapt to the new rules, and there's going to be some false positives here and there, but for the most part, over the next couple of months, everything's going to settle into place. I hope that's what happens. I think that's usually how these things settle themselves. But I think creators have every right to be nervous about these things just because the rules are so vague and the consequences for breaking those very vague rules are just so very high. So anyway, what do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.